Welcome to CMS Training with EDUCO. In this video, we will be introducing you to the Drupal content management system. Our demo site is using the standard Bartik template. While the layout and template of your site will differ significantly, the administrative functionality will be very similar, if not the same as this site. The view of the site that we are currently seeing is called the front end. This is the version of your website that is visible to anyone who accesses it from your URL. In order to make changes to the site, you will need to log into what is called the backend or administrative dashboard. You may do so by going to yoursite.com/user. You will see a username and password field where you can enter your site username and password associated with your account. If you've forgotten this information, you can click the Request New Password tab. If you know either the username or email address associated with your account, you can enter it into this field and click Email New Password. You'll be sent a password reset link that will allow you for one time to reset this information and log into your account. If you no longer have access to the email address associated with your account, or you seem to have forgotten it, you'll need to contact either your web developer or someone who can access the database for you to manually reset that information. So provided you have your information, you're going to log in by entering your username and password. We click the Login button. Okay, so the view of the site that you're seeing now looks very similar to the front end logged out view, with the exception that now we've been dumped onto our user page. It's got a little bit of information about our user account. And we also see a couple of overlays with some administrative links. The black bar at the very, very top houses static administrative links that are generated by your system in modules. And the gray bar beneath it houses your shortcut links, which can be customized to contain links to areas of the site that you utilize most frequently. So by default, these links have, this bar has the add content and find content links. And this shortcut bar will be different for any logged in user. So if you have multiple administrators on your website, they can each have different sets of shortcut links. The way that you add or edit the links in your shortcut tab, which we highly recommend that you do because it allows you to do very typical actions more quickly without having to click through multiple pages to get to where you're going. You can either hit the Edit Shortcuts link on the far right hand side, and you'll get an overlay. Anytime you're editing or clicking through to any of your administration pages, you will see the information will come up in the format of this overlay. Basically, it grays out the page of the website that you were viewing previously, and you get this box that kind of lives on top of it with all the information that you're editing. If you find that you don't need to save changes to whatever you've opened up, you can click the little close button here on the right hand side, and you'll be taken back to the page that you were previously looking at. But right now we have our this is our shortcut page, and you can see there are breadcrumbs at the top of this overlay that will let you basically know what the trail of pages that one would have to click to get to this particular page happens to be. You can click any of these links and it will take you to the parent page of this particular overlay. So you can see here you have the ability to add up to 7 shortcuts. So we've got 2 that are currently set by default that if you'd like to remove, you can delete. And then we have 5 that are empty. If you want to add a new shortcut, you'd click the Add Shortcut button. And you'll just need to set the name and the path. So in order to set the path of the shortcut, you'll have to know where the particular page that to which you're trying to link lives on your site. So if I wanted to create a shortcut for adding a page or adding a basic page, a content of type basic page, I know that the path to that is node/add/page. And so I can manually set that. But say for instance, if you don't necessarily know offhand the link to the URL that you're trying to create a shortcut for, or you haven't gone to the page previously and copied that URL from your navigation, from your browser bar, what you can do is actually set a shortcut directly from the page that you're looking at. So say for instance, I wanted to, in addition to creating a shortcut for my add basic page, which as you can see is now in my shortcut navigation, if I found myself adding a lot of articles and I wanted to add a shortcut for that, instead of going to the Edit Shortcuts page, what you can also do is set a shortcut from directly on the page which you would like to link to, and I'll show you how to do that. So I know that the Add Article link is under Add Content and then I click articles normally. In order to save myself the trouble of having to click multiple places, I want to create a shortcut for this create article page. So I'm going to click this little plus sign that's next to the title of the overlay, and it's going to do a little thinking, and it'll tell me that it added a shortcut for article. And what that means is that it's put a shortcut for this create article page in my shortcuts menu for me. So those are the two ways that you can add shortcuts. And if you'd like to change what the system by default titled this particular shortcut, then you can bounce back over to your edit shortcuts page and then click edit and change it to maybe, add article or something like that. Hit enter, change it to add article and hit save. And if you'd like to rearrange the order of the shortcuts, what you can do is whenever you see this particular compass icon anywhere on your website, that means that you have the ability to drag to reorder. So if you wanted add basic page to come, then add article, you can rearrange those links, and what the system will tell you is that changes made in this table will not be saved until the form is submitted. That's basically saying that you have to scroll down and click Save Changes to save that order. And now you can see that it immediately changed the order that those shortcut links happen to appear. So that's editing your shortcut bar, and again, this helps you move through the typical tasks of your backend administration more speedily. As you'll find, the more that you mess around in the backend of your site, there will be a few things that you have to do. It's the 80-20 rule. 80% of your time is spent doing 20% of the possible actions in your backend. So you want to make sure you can get to those things as speedily as possible. So I'm just going to close this overlay. And, that's editing your shortcuts. Another important thing to note in your Drupal installation is that you've got certain elements of the site, some general configuration items that you might want to adjust. For the most part, when we go to the configuration page under administration, there's going to be a lot of information. As you can see, there are a lot of different links and pages that you could go to, and I would say most or all of this information has already been filled out by your site developer. Now, there might come a time where some things may have changed and you might need to update some things. So there are a couple of areas where you can make modifications to your site that it is highly unlikely to negatively affect anything that's been done by someone else. Under the system block, you've got your general site information page. This is where the name of the site is housed. In some templates, this name will actually influence the layout of the site. It will actually appear on the front end of the site. I'll change it here, and you'll see where that gets updated. Sometimes this has no effect on the design because it's been overridden in some way. It's on a case-by-case basis. Same thing with the slogan. You might have a template that actually uses this slogan block, so if you needed to edit it, you could do so here. Then you have the email address, and your site will give you some information, usually if there's a kind of ambiguous field. This lets you know that any emails that are sent from the website, this is the from or the sender address that populates the from field in those email addresses. So if you need to change the email address from which contact or notifications are coming from when they're being sent by your site, you can do so here. This information about the front page, most websites tend to not use this number of posts on the front page. They tend to use a more highly customized method of displaying articles or posts to the front page. But there's potentially your site could possibly be using this number to determine the number of articles or news updates that are going to your front page. So if that's the case, you can change that here. As always, I would say be cautious when you're changing the display of things or the amount of content that shows, because that could affect the design of your website and the usability. Then you have this default front page. If you're running a special or if you're making edits to the site and you don't want to use a maintenance page, you can create a custom page that will temporarily or permanently replace the home page of your website, and you can just replace the page alias and we'll go into what a page alias is in subsequent videos, but if you would just put the alias of that page here, that would replace the home page of your site. You also have some error pages that tend to be set up by your developer below. So I'm going to hit, as you can see up at the top, we made a change to that site name. It used to say Drupal example site, and we replaced it with Drupal site. If I hit save configuration, that's going to tell me that my options have been saved. And then when I close this overlay, you can see that the title here is now Drupal site instead of Drupal example site. There are a couple of other areas in the configuration that are especially useful. Say for instance, if you needed to change the regional settings and the date and time information for the time zone of the site, you could do so in the bottom left hand side of the site under regional and language. And other than that though, a lot of these different configuration settings have a great deal of an effect on the functionality of the website. So if you don't know what something is supposed to do, I highly recommend leaving it alone. If you find that particular pages of your website are getting, say for instance, you're making an update and it's not reflected on the front end, it's possible that you might need to clear your cache. You can do that under development performance. And basically clearing the cache just tells the internet, or it tells the website to tell the user's browsers that there's new information on the site and you don't want to use your old stored up version of the site. You want to, try to use new pages. So you might need to clear your cache. The site will let you know that your caches have been cleared, and you can do so under, like I said, under configuration development. Also, there's a maintenance mode. If there's something going on with your site, if you're making updates to the point where you would need to take the entire site down so that no one's messing around in it, you can tick this box, put site into maintenance mode, and you can change this little message here. Right now it currently says Drupal site is currently under maintenance. We should be back shortly. Thank you for your patience. If you'd like to give people a little bit more information as to we'll be back in 30 minutes, we'll be back in 2 days, etc., you could do so there, and you would just hit save configuration. I'm not going to put the site in maintenance mode, but you would hit save configuration, and then that message would be displayed to any users who try to come visit your site. So that's your site configuration and your general introduction to the back end of your Drupal site. Coming up, we'll be doing some videos on adding and editing content, adding and editing web forms, dealing with images, links, blocks, and your menu structure. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.